What's good, guys? What's up, guys? How we doing? How we doing today? Um, let's take a look where Bitcoin is. 94K. It's currently down 13% from the all-time high. It's definitely due for a 30% correction at some point. If we check where 30% would be, 30% brings you to 75K. But that's now below the 20-week SMA, because that 20-week SMA is moving up, catching up with the price. So it's possible we see it go back down to the 20 weeks soon. We'll have to see, though. It's definitely an area that I would consider buying at. Yeah, 794 days since a 30% decline. That's pretty crazy. What about ETH? ETH is at 3,200. It's currently at its 21-week EMA, and it got rejected off this resistance area at like 4,100. But hopefully ETH can hold the 21 or 20-week SMA as support. ETH Bitcoin, though, is not really looking too good. It's back at the lows, so we're gonna have to see if it can hold. I mean, I would be really surprised if ETH Bitcoin goes ahead and puts in a new low. I think this definitely could be the bottom over here back in mid-November at 0.0, whatever that was, 0.031. I think that could be the bottom. If ETH Bitcoin, I don't know. I mean, look, guys, it got rejected here in December. It almost made it back up the week of December 30th, but this week has been a pretty bad week for ETH Bitcoin, down almost 6%. We'll just have to wait and see. Is ETH a good value buy right now? You know, it's a good value against Bitcoin technically, but you know, just the way it's been doing, it's almost a little scary, you know, because it didn't even make it back up to 0.1 last cycle in 2021. So like, who's to say it'll even make it back up to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you buy ETH right now hoping that it goes back up to 0.08, let's just say, right? You're looking for a 130% gain, but if it didn't even make it back up to the highs in the previous cycle in 2017, you know, does it have to go to 0.08? No, nothing has to happen, but I think it could get back up to 0.08, but it needs to really, you know, 2025 needs to be a good year for ETH. We'll see though. I think it's definitely possible that ETH Bitcoin bottomed. I think we got the data for the unemployment rate. Let's try to check it out. Let's see if it released. I don't think it's gonna update on TradingView. Oh, this isn't even unemployment level, unemployment rate. Yeah, no, it's not updating, but we can go here. It might be on labor statistics. Oh wow, I think unemployment was down actually. Payroll employment rises by 256,000. That's I think more than expected, isn't it? Unemployment rate changes little at 4.1. The reason why though, it might be because I feel like people um unless that was for November. No, this is January 10th. Unemployment rate or CPI, I don't think that was today. Let's go to publications, data tools, data finder, CPI inflation calculator, um, subjects, unemployment, national unemployment rate. Okay, so all right, so unemployment rate went down, which is good. That is good. But I think the risk now is inflation for sure. I think really that's what's going on. 4.1% December. Now it could that really could be because usually in the winter a lot of jobs will hire. Um, let's go. What about wage earnings by industry? Unemployment research, employment by occupation, um, productivity. I'm gonna go back to the home page. Payroll employment. I don't even know. I don't know where it is. It might not be in here, but I think it's definitely I think it's interesting to be honest that look at this. I mean, 2024 it's been bouncing at it's been over 4% ever since May of 2024, but it hasn't gone above 4.2, which I think is good. The fact that it's not really starting to shoot up is good. Now next month though, I feel like if anything next month it will go it would go down cuz a lot of jobs lay off and get rid of people from the holidays in January. So that might actually go up. It could definitely go up. Um but we will see though. 4.1%. I think it's going to be good for the market. That's going to be good for the market, right? There's other data though, like that payroll data point is pretty important too because I'm just trying to find it. Total non-farm payroll employment increased by 256,000 in December, and the unemployment rate changed little at 4.1%. The U.S. labor statistics reported today. Employment trended up in healthcare, government, and social assistance. Retail trade added jobs in December following a job loss in November. Household survey data. Okay. The employment situation for January is scheduled to be released on Friday, February 7th. Okay, so February 7th. Revised. So the revised amounts are pretty similar, but we don't know yet for December. Does it say anywhere about the non-farm payroll? Data tools, subjects. Yeah. Non-farm payroll surge outpacing expectations and bolstering U.S. dollars. U.S. non-farm payroll is up by 256,000. I mean, it really outshoot what was expected, though. I'm not gonna lie, that was it was a lot. What are U.S. non-farm payrolls? Non-farm payrolls refers to the number of jobs in the private sectors and government agencies. But it's like, I think it's because it's December. I could be wrong about that, but it just makes sense, Q4. But at the same time, though, people usually don't hire too much Q4, like December. They'll probably hire for the holidays in November, October. But I'm talking about retail, though. Not every job does that, or every business. But Bitcoin's kind of flat right now. The market doesn't open for another hour or so. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the stock market reacts today. Inflation is 2.7. I think if inflation has another tick up next month, that's not going to be good. It's definitely not what we want to see. Now the bond market is a different story because the bond market is shooting up. Let me try to change this to candles. Yeah, the 10-year yield is going up crazy. I really wonder if it's going to go back to 5%. It definitely could. For it to have another move like this, though, I think it's unlikely. But I think it could definitely go back to 5%. Maybe even put in a new high, too. But even like 5.5%, like what is the 10-year doing up, But I think they're just worried about inflation, the fact that the job market's doing okay, and inflation is, I think, the concern pretty much. I think inflation is more the concern than the job market right now. That's also why the Fed said they weren't going to cut as many times this year. So we'll have to see for sure. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to look up some I'm going to look up a few coins real quick. So Sui I want to check out. Where's Sui at? Still at $4.90. Still at $4.90. All right, it's holding in there. Look at Athena. Athena's had a bad week, down 30%. That's pretty crazy. Down 30%. We gotta look at its Bitcoin pair too. Let me do that for Sui. Sui's been having a good move up ever since August 2024. It's been doing good against Bitcoin, up 430%. You know, if it goes up to 1,000% from that bottom, that is where would that be? That would take it at 0.0001 about. But interesting. Let's look at it. Go back to Athena. Athena Bitcoin is down 25% this week. And it's not at its 20-week SMA yet, but it's close. It's getting close. We can also look at Hot USD Hollow. This one's been taking a hit. Right, it's holding. It's at its 20-week SMA. I hope that it holds. I really do. Its Bitcoin pair it's at the lows. It's literally at the range lows. But, you know, I hope that it holds this. We will see. I mean, if it can hold this as support, that could make for a pretty good base to have a good move up. But we'll see, though. I don't know. Some of these are just ones that I remember. Down 18% this week. Yeah, this one's not doing so good against Bitcoin. We'll see if this will be a wick or if it's going to close, have its lowest weekly close. What about Quant? Quant USD is almost back at its 20-week SMA, but it is still up 79% from the low in November. So we'll see what it does. Its all-time high apparently was in September 2021. I think Quant Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so yeah, it was bleeding for a long time. It was down 90%. Actually, it went down more. Right now, it's down 90%. It went down 93-ish, 94%. Right now, it's down 90%. You know, look at this. It got rejected by the 20-week, put it in a new low, got back above it, and we'll see if it's going to hold it. I think if it does hold it, though, it really does need to hold. The double bottom wouldn't be the worst thing to happen, but you want to see it hold this because that's a lot of downside if it doesn't. But XRP Bitcoin. XRP Bitcoin actually hasn't crashed yet after its really good rally. So I'm interested to see what it does. Unfortunately, I don't own XRP anymore, and I'm not going to be the schmuck buying it right now at $2.27. But I mean, who knows? I could be wrong, and this thing might go to $10, and I might be, But I just think it's risky to buy XRP right now. The only way I'd buy XRP is if it crashed down to like maybe below $1.50. How much percent would that be? Let's just take a look. Below or $1.50 is a 33% drop. It could definitely happen. 20-week SMA is still at $1.25, so it's definitely possible it goes back down below $1.50. I think if it goes around $1 to $1.50, that's a decent buy. Anything below $1, I would probably buy. To be honest, I would buy, but nothing's guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that XRP puts in a new all-time high. I think it's going to, but it's all about market cap at the same time as well. But SNX is an interesting coin. Look at its Bitcoin pair. Let's see what it. SNX almost looks the same like Quant. Potentially, it just in the aspect that it kind of got rejected by the 20-week, got back above it, and then fell back below it. We'll see if it's going to put in a double bottom against Bitcoin. That can make for a good rally. It might be a good buy. ADA Bitcoin is fairly something in my mouth. ADA Bitcoin is doing fairly okay. It's still down a lot, but one thing about ADA Bitcoin is it really just trended down for a long time. It was down 92%, got back down to the lows that were set in 2020, 2019, and then it had a really strong rally. So I think it's possible that it holds the 20-week SMA and starts to maybe trend higher for 2025. We'll see though. Link Bitcoin. I don't know. Link Bitcoin, I feel like, kept putting in these lows 1, 2, 3, and it kind of made you feel like, or it kind of made you question every time, like, okay, is this the low? Is this the low? Or is this the low? And like, I wonder if it's gonna happen again where it I would be surprised if it puts in a new low. I think it's possible that it bottomed out, but anything is possible, to be honest. We'll see though. It's down 87%. BNB Bitcoin is doing okay. It's one of the ones that it's down 62% against Bitcoin. It was actually doing good against Bitcoin during the bear market. So January 2022, and then it had a top in November 2022. So 2022, it saw upside against Bitcoin, and then 2023, it went down against Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. AVAX Bitcoin might be a good buy right now because it's at these range lows, and it looks like it's been putting in a double bottom. 1, 2. It's technically like this week it got rejected. It's had a pretty strong move down 10%. But if it holds this though, especially these lows, that can make for some pretty good upside. I'm going to keep an eye on that. If it goes back up to this high back in December 2023. That's a 190% move. I'm going to keep an eye out on that. I might actually pick up some AVAX right now. Might be worth it. But yeah, the stock market is not open yet. We can go back and look at the 2-year. 2 years at 4.3. I wonder if it's going to keep going up. I really do wonder if the 2-year is going to keep going up. You can see ever since the Fed started cutting rates in September, 2-year rally. 10-year, I don't know what's going to happen with the 10-year. I really don't. It's going to be really interesting to see if it makes it back to 5%. It's not that far off. I mean, it's at 4.77 right now. I don't know. If you look at the inversion, though, they're not inverted anymore. They became uninverted in early December. So usually these, when they become uninverted, usually it precedes a recession. It could take a year, though, for that to play out. The 2-year and the 10-year also are not inverted anymore, but they haven't been inverted ever since September, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like September. But interesting stuff, though. I don't know. I'm keeping an eye out for Bitcoin, though. Bitcoin usually has a correction in December of the post-halving year. You can see in 2021, it had a correction in January. And it was I believe, a 30% correction, pretty much exactly. 2017, I bet, was the same thing. Yeah, January 2017. I mean, look at this wick. It was down 34%, had a little correction. What about 2020? Did it? No, 2019. Well, January 2019 it did. But 2023 we could look. We could try and see if it did. February. Not really, but it's really the post-halving year. It usually does. So that's what I'm looking for. Mainly, I'm looking to see if Bitcoin goes back down to its 20-week SMA and where the 20-week SMA will be by the time it goes back to it. The 20-week SMA is moving up every week. It will catch up with the price. And then also, I'm looking for ETH Bitcoin to see if it's going to hold these lows. Because I do hold ETH. I really hope it does. And then the S&P. We will see if the S&P holds its 20-week SMA as well, or if it's going to go into a larger correction. Part of that is probably going to be what the 10-year does. It all ties back to the 10-year. Is the 10-year going to get back up to 5%? Is it going to even put in a new high? That's going to, I don't know. I think that's going to be really important. And then on top of that, we got the job market data that's going to be affecting the market today, most likely. And also inflation. I don't know when the next inflation report is, but that'll be important as well. But I'm going to wrap up the stream.